Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Walk-Ins Welcome. I've got Michael Ray with me as always. I'm Nick Horde, and we are all about helping you triple your revenue through digital marketing services and exceptional patient experience. Michael, how are you, brother?
Doing good, and we got a screen buddy now.
We do. We've made a couple of changes. You know, who knows? Maybe one day we'll get that coveted Vibe board.
Hey, maybe we should. No, I know what we should do because this already worked with the Alani new energy drink. Just start tagging Vibe board.
Tag Vibe board and see if they send us one.
See if they send us one.
You know, Gentle Giant over there.
That's
why not? Genius.
Why not?
Good move.
It happens.
Well, look, we're glad you're here today. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, we want to thank you for listening to us. And if you're not tuning in, and this is episode whatever, 62, 63, 64, something like that.
In the 60s.
Yeah, it's in the 60s. You've probably noticed a bit of a change. And I said this on the webinar that we just did, but I'll say it here too. I just want to congratulate everybody who owns a business. You're now all on page one of Google.
Oh, yeah. We are now obsolete.
Just by listening to this show, you're now on page one of Google.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
So our agency is now obsolete because you're on page one of Google.
False.
But so is everybody else now. So this has been an entertaining change that you've noticed or not noticed back in, I guess, December. It rolled out. And technically they rolled it out on phones probably like midsummer.
Right. It's been around for a while on mobile.
And they even changed mobile again when they changed desktop. Is they now give you content suggestions.
Right.
But no. So what are we talking about? Whatever your business is, we'll say urgent care. Go to your browser, not on your phone, but go to your desktop browser, your traditional desktop browser. Go to Google, type in urgent care near me or whatever your business is, and start scrolling. What's missing? The page number.
It's ruined my favorite joke, Michael.
I know. You can't bury people on page 2. It's not there anymore.
Every time, my favorite SEO joke is the best place to bury a dead body is on page 2 of Google or page 1 of Bing.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
Hey, that page 1 of Bing's still a thing. Or
right,
page 1 of Yahoo.
Hey, you could probably still bury a dead body there, but
or on Yahoo.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway,
right.
So it's gone. So you start scrolling. It just keeps going and going and going. And it does stop. It actually doesn't get you like a page 10 or page 20 depth. It stops.
You have now reached the end of your search.
And it starts suggesting things.
Right.
And it starts re-showing information.
Why though?
Because they don't want you to leave.
Well, there's that. But why would it give you this continuous scroll and suddenly stop? The algorithm is saying, uh-oh, you didn't find what you were looking for.
Yep.
Which either means you did a wrong search or we are not providing the right information.
Yeah, and Google is still horrible at becoming a social media platform, so they just adapted to the infinite scroll mindset. And so now they're trying to treat their search as like finding that you know this when you're on TikTok or Facebook or any social media, there's no end in sight. Like I think it's always funny that TikTok actually has videos plugged into your feed that says, hey, you've been scrolling for a really long time. You should take a break.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Doing that. Hey, why don't you go walk outside for a minute?
It literally says like because I always joke. I was like, is that just somebody? And then you see it's by TikTok, and they're like saying, hey, we see you've been on this for a while. Take a break.
Responsible social media.
Yeah.
But look, here's the thing. We put together an episode today because of these changes. This may not be the longest episode in the world, but I think it's going to be relevant for what's going on in 2023. The most important thing that we could communicate to you today is now everybody in the patient care space that's relevant to the search that's being done is on page 1 of Google because there's no longer a page 2. I think we've beat that.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Ads are becoming more and more relevant. And you understand this, Michael. You're the one who actually kind of discovered this on our end.
Yeah.
Is that now they're layering ads into the scroll.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. We are trained up until this very point. The ad is at the very top and at the very bottom of a page on Google. Now it's top, somewhere.
I think this is an important aspect, though, Michael, because I think that being in first position in the ad space is no longer going to be as important.
Yeah.
It's just showing up in the ad sets is going to be important because people are now like, oh, I can scroll. I don't have to click around. There's less work for me to do. I'm more engaged on this scroll platform because I'm used to it on social media. Well, they may not click the first thing they see anymore. Now you want to be showing up not only in the first scroll, but you want to start having your ads show up in multiple variants of that scroll.
Now I'm starting to think, this is on the fly too. I'm starting to think now that we need to have the traditional ad copy of making the offer, and then we probably need to start having ads that are content oriented,
Right.
because people are, if they're scrolling that far down, because that's the thing, what they're trying. So this is what it boils down to, and we have this as a point here. Like, Google wants to make money. Google only makes, like, okay, Google makes money all sorts of ways, but its number one driver, its original driver, is Google Ads.
That's right.
And if they can make it where you're they make it off a click. They don't really care what happens beyond the click. Like, they'll use that information to make sure it's more relevant in the next search. But ultimately, they made their money when you clicked. If they can make make that more money because you clicked because you thought you were clicking on a search result, not a ad, they're making more and more. And if you basically deleted the typical spot where an ad's supposed to be, and now it's just sprinkled in, you may miss it. Like, it still will say ad beside it, but it's so tiny, you don't recognize it anymore. And you don't recognize we right now. So if you're curious, well, when do they put in ads? Right now they have a top side, and then they put it basically after where page one would end.
Right.
It's pretty much it's the same setup temporarily, just no more pages. And so, like, the positioning is there, but it's so fluid now, you can't tell. Like, you have to pay attention.
Right.
And we know, sorry, world, but most of you people just click and go. You don't pay attention super close. And so that they're taking advantage of the situation.
So I'm going to pose the question: if it is becoming a blurred line between what is an organic result and what is a paid result, do you think ads are going to become more important or less important?
More.
Exactly. Why?
Because now they're exposed. Like, you can't ignore them.
Well, it's not just that, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Google is going to prioritize. They already do.
Yeah.
But now they're really going to prioritize the ads over the organic. And now SEO is becoming, I don't want to say it's becoming less relevant. I think it's going to change. And I've got that as part of our notes today on how it's going to change and what's going to become the most important part of search engine optimization.
Yep.
But speaking to that, though, the people that wanted to not pay ad spend because they wanted to save all that money and just do SEO to show up organically. First of all, I got to ask the question. Maybe I would love for somebody to
put a one in the chat.
Yeah, we can't do that today, but would love for somebody to email in and tell me, why are you so adverse to paying for ads? I want to know that. I'm just curious, because I don't know about you, Michael, but for me, if I could put $1 in and get $4, $5, $6 back,
Yep.
How many dollars am I putting in?
Oh, yeah. Like, how far can I stretch it till it goes the other way?
Right. But I have zero control over organic. I mean, I do to a degree for the SEO, for the search engine optimization, but I know if I pay for an ad, that ad's going to show.
Especially if you're very location heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So your website could need to reflect what Google's doing. Now, I don't know. This is theory to me, Michael. I don't know.
Yeah.
There is nothing that I see a change in websites coming based on what Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, all of this is doing.
Which is interesting, because I have, and this is one of those things, this is one of my biggest problems with Google. They'll implement a change and then they'll change it right back.
They will. We'll
and
see
not
what happens.
and because they didn't like the results for whatever reason, or it caused unintended consequences. And so, like, it is a thing. Like, should your website now become a continuous scroller or not?
Well, maybe just the homepage.
And just the homepage, but what does that even mean? Like, where's the limit?
Go to clickfunnels.com and you'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the limit? But I just, part of me still thinks today, just in general, people don't want to get frustrated, and they will if they have to find something. They don't want to find it; it just wants to appear in front of their face. So I think it's weird. Like, you don't know, because there's been, and that's the thing too. Right now we're in January 2023, so please date mark like what we're saying. This is all experimental, like potential forecasting of what could happen.
Yeah, this isn't a practical application episode. This is a, hey, guess what just happened episode.
And this is when all the agencies of the world, or the SEO gurus and all the things like that, the Neil Patels, they start speculating.
Right.
They start experimenting. We all just kind of like, all right, we're going to tweak something. Let's see if it reacts. Because I'll go ahead and tell you right now, from our standpoint, this change hasn't had a massive effect on our SEO efforts. Like, I haven't seen dramatic drops and things like that.
No. Not yet.
And I haven't seen necessarily dramatic increases on ads quite yet. It's still very fresh. So, and it may be one of those things, Google throw it in there for 6 months and then all of a sudden page numbers are
I mean,
back.
it's legitimately not even 2 weeks old yet at the time of this recording.
Yeah, like it's very, very fresh. And that's the other thing Google likes to do. Sometimes they release it and not everybody sees it.
Right.
And then they slowly release it to everybody. And like I said, if you're curious what this is, Google, start scrolling and just see what happens. If you get I'll say this, email us if you get a page number.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
I like
That'd
to
be cool.
see, because so far we don't get page numbers anymore. And it's been like that for a little while.
Well, I think part of that continuous scroll is to minimize the clicks.
Yep.
And if they're trying to minimize the clicks on Google to get the right click at the right time, should that translate over to your website? That's why I talk about the continuous scroll.
Yeah.
With minimizing the clicks. Like right now, I'll say urgent care, you probably have a service page for every service that you provide, and that is how it should be today. But I wonder if at some point they're going to re-index that page and be this continuous scroll of services. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just curious if they're trying to say, hey, this is where the user experience is going. And I just personally believe that the user experience today is more important than ever.
Yeah.
I got onto a website earlier today, Michael, and I didn't know what it wanted me to do. It was the logo. I don't know, just kind of like the logo was in the dead center of the page.
Which
And it was like a choose your own adventure. If you want urgent care, go this way. If you want aesthetic, like, I don't know, Botox or something, go this way. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I have no idea what to do with this website.
and I even think like that situation too, those are quite, even though they're both in the medical space, they're quite a bit different.
Those are two completely different.
Like that's a different target market.
Yeah.
That's a different just experience.
That's right.
Anyway, yeah, and so what were some of the things we're wrestling? By the way, just a slight promotion to the webinar. Replays have been sent out, but if you didn't get one or you didn't hear about it, if you're part of UCA, we did a UCA sponsored. Well, we were part of UCA sponsored webinar yesterday, which would have been the 12th of January,
Right.
about what to do for 2023 in terms of implementing goals and plans for digital marketing. And hey, throw your websites out here. Let's see what you got. And we looked at them, and it was funny because like we had like half really good, half could be better. But talking about the click stuff, there was one that we looked at.
I never could book an appointment.
No,
Even if I wanted to.
Yeah, I couldn't. And it was funny because I was like, I said, and I told him, I was like, never seen this site before. So if you throw it up here, this is my initial reaction. So we go into it, and we're like, okay, it's not too bad. And I said, now I'm going to book an appointment. Click, click, click. And I said, I'm lost. I don't know what to do now because I don't see an obvious way to do it. And then she
click, bounce.
Yeah, and she's like, I agree. And I said, well, that's a problem. So it's amazing. And here's a rule of thumb: if it takes more than 2 clicks to accomplish something, it's done wrong.
That's right.
Every single time. It
there's
should
no
be.
doubt about it.
If you can do it in 1 click, that's where you're at. The 2 clicks is acceptable. After that, technically speaking, you're breaking ADA compliance if you're beyond 3 clicks.
Ooh, I never thought about that.
Technically, it's stupid.
Yeah, but seriously, like I never thought about that.
Yeah, I get it though. It's just well.
All right. So how? Okay. All right. So there's no more page 2. Everybody I know now in my vicinity within the radius of this search is now on page 1 of Google. There's one tool outside of ads that will still place you at the top of the scroll and doesn't follow you in multiple layers down the scroll. Google Maps.
The maps, yeah.
Right. Google Maps. You have to make sure that you're ranking and getting found on Google Maps. Well, what in the world does Google Maps have to do with Google, Michael?
Everything.
Like it is the same thing.
Because
They
here's
just
the thing:
call it something different.
Google Maps is using your location information,
That's right.
and it's going to show you relevant information based on location. So if you're looking for a business locally, it's going to serve that first, and you got to make sure it's right. And also, I think Google Maps is technically, when you go into Google Maps, like maps.google.com, and you get that left-hand side, here's a list of businesses that fall into this map view.
Right.
It's kind of infinite to a certain degree. Like
It
there's,
is.
There's no extra pages. It's based on what pinpoints you're able to see. But no, that's a reality there where that map is still showing at the top and it doesn't follow you. Like that's the opportunity. And it doesn't re-show itself up later like an ad does. So that's SEO. Like, sorry, but that's part of SEO. Like
Right.
that is the organic side, making sure you're doing the right things. And once again, reviews matter. So make sure, like, if you have really crappy reviews, that map is not going to be your friend.
Well, let me top a few things here that I think is just important for you to know. Search engine optimization cost Google money.
Yeah, Google doesn't like us.
No. They don't like us, and they don't like you if you're not spending money with them. So if you are search engine optimized completely and you're showing up organically, Google does not like that. They would rather show a multitude of results than you show up in first position every time somebody does a Google search, which in my opinion is why the algorithm constantly changes for search engine optimization, which is also why I feel a company like us or the company that you're using is so important to keep on board, because we're in here studying this every single day, making sure that we're changing along with the algorithm. And you as a patient care provider, you don't have time for that. So SEO costs Google money. Paid ads makes Google money. Which one do you think they're going to put all of their support behind?
Oh, yeah. And lo and behold, your ads and your SEO is tied to a main domain.
Right.
9 times out. Even if your ads are on a subdomain of that main domain, that means Google is connecting the dots. And we know, like, we've seen it. The second that a client that does SEO adds Google ads, their rankings start to increase as well. It's a direct, like, and it's not just saying because they spent money with.
I don't know. I totally think it's because they spent money.
I mean, it'll never.
I mean, we can't say that.
They can't say it.
But
It'll never come out that way. But, but also, when Google sees a bunch more traffic going to a site or a domain, like, that's part of the game too. Like, it's amazing. So, and then we also see SEO going a little bit the other way when you turn off ads. So
it starts to devalue that ranking.
Yeah. So and that's just, let's not forget, Google is not there to serve you. It is there to make money. Like, it wasn't built, like, if it didn't make money, Google wouldn't exist.
Google is not a free platform.
No, it's like any platform. None of it's really free.
It's not free. It's a segue drug.
Yeah.
It is. It's the marijuana of drugs, right? It's like the goal is to get you on heroin.
So what do you call Chat GPT?
Oh gosh, I don't even like. I'm smoking that stuff hard. The Chat GPT stuff.
And it is free.
I'm totally geeked out on that right now.
That's free to free.
Well,
to
we're
free.
going to talk about that in just a second. But I did want to say, like, Google is not a free platform. It is designed to get you there and to get you dependent on it through Google Maps and Google Business Profile. And also, unfortunately, it's a necessary evil right now. Like, for your business to function properly in 2023, you need to be showing up in Google regularly. So, getting search engine optimization correct is a critical piece of it, but it can't be your only strategy. Google will devalue your backlinks. Google will change the way it works. It'll find ways to suppress your listing for those who are going to pay for it. Eventually, you're going to have to put $1 into Google so you can get some money out of it.
There's a real reason why, like, if you ever went to our website, patientcaremarketingpros.com, and clicked on pricing, there's a reason why we have ads as the starting point, because ads are 9 times out of 10 are going to get you money and get a bit money because we know what to do for you. But then when you add an SEO and your ads already been running for a while, Google just like, let's just turn on the green light a little bit.
That's it.
And that, like, there's a reason behind that. Like, we honestly, like, back a couple of years ago, we used to say SEO all the way, ads would be a nice add-on. Then we changed that because SEO is really great and has a wonderful return on investment, but it does take time.
Even better than pay-per-click if you really think about it.
If you give it enough time, SEO technically is a cheaper cost per lead, or however you want to qualify it.
Cost per patient.
Than an ad over time. Initially, no. So, I mean, we have things where SEO takes a good 6 months sometimes to return. But once it starts returning, it's a very hard train to stop.
That's right.
Ads is quite different. You can get returned pretty quickly, and then it can be turned off like a light switch.
So let's wrap this up. It's a necessary evil, but what we've seen in the social media space, Facebook used to be the gold standard. Right?
It got dethroned.
And it has been dethroned. All right. So my question to pose is, will this happen to Google too? I used to not think so, Mike. I used to be like, I just really don't see how this could happen. And then ChatGPT showed up.
Yeah, ChatGPT is
GPT, GDP, gross domestic
product.
Whatever it's called.
So Chat,
Jasper, all of them.
So you
Quiller
or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT if you've been on TikTok, you probably got a video thrown at you at this point because it exploded on TikTok. It is the first platform to hit 1 million users in 5 days. And I saw some statistic where like Facebook took months, and then like it's been faster and faster, but nothing has touched Chat GPT at all in terms of user. It's so intense that for the first month, half the time you couldn't log in because they were overloaded.
Right.
And then as of like this week, they released another update that kind of sped things up. It even gave you the ability to stop stuff halfway through so it quit processing. But what is Chat GPT? Now I think we touched on it a little bit in the previous, but this is the thing that literally has made Google shake in its boots, where they actually have video of Google having a all stand meeting and no one can agree upon what to do with it. And then Google employees are complaining to the AI department saying, why haven't we done this? Why are we behind? And they don't have an answer for it. And I think it's hilarious that Chat GPT came out right when the no more page on Google came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a slap in the face where Google's like, massive update, we removed the page number.
Right.
Massive update, Chat GPT can now code for you or develop or write a book for you or write novels or service. It can do anything for you that's related to text
Or answer your questions.
Yeah.
Which is why I put this in here in the first place, is if you're going to Google currently to get your questions answered about who the best patient provider is in Birmingham, Alabama, there's going to come a time where AI chat is going to plug into the internet, and once it has access to that data, it is on, baby, because then you can go to Chat GPT or some variant of it and say, who's the best patient care provider? It's going to have all this data to pull from and say, well, you need to use so-and-so right here, and here's why, and here's all the data about them. By the way, you can book your appointment right now.
Yeah, and here's the thing. AI is basing its like Chat GPT is based on information 2021 or older. It's limited on some, and that's because it's a research project. It's a research project that was backed by Microsoft. I think like they're pitching like $3 billion into it soon. Like it's some Microsoft. If y'all know anything about Microsoft, if you're curious, Microsoft gets a little itch when it comes to competitive advantages. Go look at Xbox. They entered the gaming industry with over
last
and threw $1 billion at the Xbox, and now it's part of the team. Like you can't,
it owns it.
Yeah, like it, and then like it went from non-existent to #1 platform and within a decade or so. And don't be surprised if Microsoft like, we know Bing sucks, we're going to change that.
Right.
So don't be surprised if something massive happens at some point. Now, is there a possibility that this project could be shut down and it all disappears? Sure. But the reality is the things that it can produce is the things that people want.
Right.
I get tired. Here's the thing. To me, Chat GPT is what Position Zero Google was supposed to do. So when we say Position Zero Google, it's like when you do that search and it
only shows one thing.
It only shows the bolded up, this is the answer.
Right.
And it's based on some random article that it's actually out of date half the time. That was what Position Zero is supposed to do. But Chat GPT is like, I'm going to give you everything. Absolutely everything. So, and I need some input. Sure. Give me some input. I'll give you a better answer next time. Do you want me to rewrite it for you so you can use it for later?
Right.
Absolutely.
It evolves based on the data that you put in.
And it's like, thanks. Can you give me some more?
Right.
So,
well, look, this episode has been a lot of speculation based on a response to page 2 of Google going away. If I'm going to recap anything, obviously page 2 of Google went away. It's all one continuous scroll. Google Maps is your friend, and you need to get really good at optimizing for Google Maps. Reach out to us if you need some help with that. I think we have an entire training course that I put together a couple of years ago on how to do that.
And we have some success stories that based off of it too.
I mean, like 800% growth type of stuff. And it's free. We're happy to get that in your hands. Ads are going to become increasingly more important than they were before, and you're going to get a better result off of those because your ads could show in multiple phases of a search now, right? SEO costs money. Pay-per-click makes Google money. You need to understand that. Otherwise, you're going to fail.
Yep.
Okay. And then chat is going to change. Like the AI chat is going to change things. We don't know how, but it's coming.
Yeah. It's just, we're loving it. Because
Yeah, it's right now it's great, but like I said, it feels like a drug. I feel like I'm smoking a drug because it feels good and everything's awesome. And then what are they going to do? Start charging me $1,000?
and then we start getting withdrawal symptoms, and and then we don't know what to do with ourselves. So thank you for listening to this. And if for any other takeaways, just go look up ChatGPT, be a little scared, do a Google search, scroll and keep scrolling, and that's the episode.
Awesome. Y'all have a great week. Thanks for listening.